ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
A stretch of Southern California's coast transformed by a major oil spill. Why lawmakers say environmental disasters like this one could jeopardize thousands of jobs.
Plus, hundreds of lightning strikes lighting up our skies last night, some even sparking fires. Watch as neighbors come together quickly to save a home from burning.
And the action taken by San Diego County supervisors after a recent proposal to place a sexually violent predator in a local home sparked uproar.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
The answers will be afforded over the course of the next days and weeks, and I assure you we'll stay on top of this.
Governor Gavin Newsom touring the massive oil spill north of San Diego County as more than 126,000 gallons of oil continue to spread. Tonight, we're finally learning what may have caused that catastrophic spill. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Late this afternoon, investigators revealed the pipeline was split open and then dragged across the ocean floor. The spill has also sparked a new push to ban offshore drilling. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, we begin with ABC's Morgan Norwood with the latest on the investigation.
As crews race to contain and clean this massive oil spill off the Southern California coast, new questions over when authorities first knew about it. According to reports obtained by ABC News, the first apparent call spotting sheen, that thin layer of oil smearing the surface of the water, came at 8:22 Friday. Then 5 hours later, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration satellite took this image, showing what NOAA said with high confidence was oil. But it wasn't until 8:55 the next day, 12 hours later, that Amplify Energy reported a spill.
This is a terrible tragedy, and we're, extremely sorry this happened. Obviously, the cause of this will still need to be investigated. As
investigators lean into the timeline, the first lawsuit linked to the disaster filed in federal court. According to the class action lawsuit against Beta Offshore, a California business owner who regularly performs along Huntington Beach alleges he's losing business due to the closure of the beach and other consequences of the spill. The legal fallout just as officials learn more about the cause of the disaster. Officials say the pipeline that runs just a few miles off the coast of Orange County was likely ruptured by a passing ship's anchor. ABC's Matt Gutman out on the ocean as crews continue the cleanup.
Pretty much everywhere you look, you can fish out these oil tar balls that are floating on the surface of the oil. And also everywhere you look, you can see that sheen of oil on the surface.
Meanwhile, fish and wildlife experts rescuing birds from the sludge. It's believed it could take weeks to assess the impact to wildlife. Residents left in disbelief.
Well, it's heartbreaking.
And Amplify Energy says it will cooperate with authorities, but officials tell ABC News this is likely to turn into a criminal investigation. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Local Congressman Mike Levin is ramping up his calls to ban new offshore drilling in light of the oil spill. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco continues our team coverage from Encinitas, where the congressman just made his latest plea. Rachel.
Hi, Lindsay. The congressman has been pushing this ban for months. He says it is the only way to eliminate the risk that comes with drilling. It's a typical afternoon at Moonlight State Beach. No sign of the rush to stop the spread of an environmental disaster in Orange County. At least 126,000 gallons of oil spread over more than 8,000 acres and heading south. Congressman Mike Levin got a first-hand look at the spill by helicopter Monday.
The only foolproof way that we're going to prevent oil spills from this like happening is if we ban all offshore drilling, period.
Earlier this year, Congressman Levin introduced the American Coasts and Oceans Protection Act. It would ban any new leases for the exploration, development, or production of oil and gas along the coast from San Diego to the northern border of San Luis Obispo County.
For every oil spill like the one we're experiencing now, we're not only adding to the pollution of our oceans, but also directly jeopardizing thousands of jobs.
Jobs tied to tourism and coastal recreation.
In fact, in San Diego and Orange County, the ocean economy accounts for roughly $7.7 billion in economic activity and sustains more than 140,000 jobs.
Levin was joined by dozens of local leaders and environmentalists who agree with him.
Enough is enough. We have seen this over and over again.
Right now, there are 23 oil and gas drilling operations in federal waters off the California coast. Levin's ban would prevent new drilling operations from popping up. Reporting live in Encinitas, Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Rachel. And you can follow the investigation by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
All right, turning now to our weather. Things are much quieter today after the wild storm brought hundreds of lightning strikes to San Diego County, even starting some fires. More on that in just a minute. Boy, downtown looks nice right now. Our meteorologist Angelica Campos joins us with what appears to be getting cooler and cloudier out there.
That's right, Steve. A lot of changes. Yesterday was just a wild day, a wild evening, and the overnight continued to be wet with torrential rain around the county. So what is normal for October? Because we're already ahead. The average is just over ½ inch of rain. Temperatures should be in the low 70s, but for the rest of the week, we're not going to be normal. It is going to be cooler than average, and we're expected to see more rain. The rain totals as of this morning at 5 a.m. picking up close to an inch in Granite Hills. Last night at 11, they had about just under ½ an inch, so they got most of it overnight. Lemon Grove about 3/4 of an inch, and San Diego 0.64, which means San Diego has already gotten all the rain they typically get for the entire month. But the chance is not over. We're going to see more showers, potentially some colder weather, and maybe more than one storm. I'll explain what to look for the rest of the 7-day forecast as we start to cool down.
Angelica, thank you. Wow, that stunning new video shows the moment lightning sparked a fire in La Mesa last night. As our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chin found out, neighbors, they came together quickly to help save a home.
Around 6:30 Monday evening, Ray Still was in his bedroom when it lit up.
It sounded like an explosion. Looked outside and I just saw flames.
By the time he filmed this video, his parents had already raced down the block to Calavo Drive, or moments before,
literally shook us to our core.
A camera at Michelle Ham's house captured this. Lightning sparking a backyard fire.
Shook our bones and we're just like, oh, what the heck?
Neighbors, including Still's parents, scrambling to help.
They ran into the backyard. Lady that was there, she said, grab a hose. Embers started to fall on her shed, on the roof, so they started wetting those down.
The lightning that sent neighbors into action, part of a county-wide sound and light show. This video from Coronado captured the moment lightning caused a power outage. In Rancho Bernardo, a resident caught this streak of lightning on her cell phone. In La Mesa, this bolt caught a teenage girl by surprise. And in Santee, in the purple haze, an unreal sight. Back on Calavo Drive, the reality of this sight spurring neighbors, some using hoses, others going door to door to warn others. Fire crews quickly arrived and limited the spread to a few backyards.
You know, showed the type of community we have and how people want to help, and it was really neat to experience.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
And at one point overnight, there were about 16 possible calls for fires because of these lightning strikes.
We have to push back. We have to do it now.
San Diego County supervisors voting unanimously today to oppose the placement of any more sexually violent predators in the area. It comes on the heels of a recent proposal to put an offender in a home in Rancho Bernardo. County leaders say the process for placing SVPs is flawed and they want to see changes.
Utter relief. Literally utter relief.
That was a neighbor reacting last week after learning sexually violent predator Douglas Badger wouldn't be moving into this Rancho Bernardo home. It came after overwhelming community opposition, and now the San Diego County Board of Supervisors is also pushing back.
To oppose any further placements of sexually violent predators in San Diego County until the California Welfare and Institutions Code are updated to allow local jurisdictions full participation in the release and placement process, including full veto authority.
Supervisor Jim Desmond's proposal was unanimously approved at Tuesday's meeting. He says there are 5 SVPs that have been placed in the county, with 3 more waiting for their placement hearing.
What people don't understand is we have no veto power whatsoever. And over 60% of all sexually violent predators have been located in my district.
At this point, it's unclear what the vote will do legally. ABC 10 News reached out to the California Department of State Hospitals, which oversees the placement of SVPs, but were told it couldn't comment. Local leaders say they simply want to see the process changed.
And this vote is about giving our county new tools to keep children safe and stand up for our families.
Now, San Diego Area State Senator Brian Jones has said he plans to introduce legislation that would change the process for placing sexually violent predators.
We have new details about that shooting last week involving San Diego police officers. Sky 10 was over the scene. This was in Chollas Creek shortly after it happened. It began when officers tried to pull over a motorcycle driver. Instead, that driver took off. He eventually crashed, and then there was a brief chase. Police say the man pulled a gun, opened fire, and that's when officers shot back, hitting the man. Today, police identified that man as Jesus Morales. He is still being treated for his injuries. Police also identified the officer who shot Morales. His name is Justin Hibbard. He is in his first year with the San Diego Police Department. And a skateboarder has life-threatening injuries after getting hit by a car today. Sky 10 was over Ocean Beach a little after 7 o'clock this morning. Police tell us in this incident, the skateboarder was going north on Nimitz. He turned against a red light to get on West Point Loma Boulevard. That's when a car with a green light hit him. The skateboarder was rushed to the hospital. The police department is now investigating.
Now to Washington, D.C., where members of Congress are trying to reach a compromise deal right now on President Biden's domestic agenda.
As for the president, he's on the road selling his infrastructure and social spending packages. ABC's Ike Jachi has the latest.
Today, Democratic leaders in Congress say progress on President Biden's Build Back Better agenda is being made, but details are still getting ironed out.
There is more work to do, and so we are going to keep at it.
President Biden meeting virtually with moderate Democrats today after meeting with progressives and leadership Monday, ahead of his trip to Michigan, where he's selling the public on both his bipartisan infrastructure and Build Back Better social spending initiatives.
These bills are about competitiveness versus complacency. They're about opportunity versus decay.
While Democrats continue to work to pass both of those bills, another deadline is looming over Capitol Hill, October 18th, when Congress will run out of money to pay the bills it owes unless the debt ceiling is raised. It's traditionally done on a bipartisan basis, but Republicans say they won't help this time, accusing the White House of wanting to add trillions in new domestic spending.
While our economy still struggles to fully recover, President Biden wants to slap Americans with the biggest tax hike in half a century.
Financial experts say the consequences will be dire for the country if Congress doesn't. A recent study by Moody's says a default would be a cataclysmic economic scenario and could cost the U.S. economy up to 6 million jobs, wipe out as much as $15 trillion in household wealth, $20 billion owed to seniors on Social Security could go unpaid, and the unemployment rate could soar to around 9%, well above the current rate of 5%. Schumer now telling colleagues that a bill to raise the debt ceiling must come by the end of the week, or he might keep them in the Capitol through the weekend.
We're telling Republicans, we're not asking you to vote for it. Just let us vote.
98% of the current debt was accrued before President Biden took office, including $7.8 trillion, which was added during former President Trump's time in office. Ike Jachi, ABC News, Washington.